Cedefop has been working with ETF very closely. How do you perceive this cooperation between the two agencies?
Has been very good. And since I'm here for the 40th anniversary, please allow me to start by wishing happy birthday and good anniversary to the Cedefop for the first 40 years. Why the last 20? Because the ETF has been created only 20 years ago, and at the moment of its creation, of its setting up, it was a long time to analyze if ETF should be a department at Cedefop or a distinct institution, and the decision at the time was to give a message to the partner countries of Europe that they deserve to have their own institution, as a message that Europe really considers human capital as important as it is for Europe, for outside of Europe, meaning for the partner countries. So it is a synergy between the work we do, but our methods of work are very different, because the countries that we are working with, they are subject of different contractual relations and partnerships with the EU members, in case of Cedefop, while in our cases they are not members of the EU. So then the methods of work are different, but the policies and the challenges several times they are the same, and that's why I see our cooperation as going good. Of course, can we improve always.
When comparing the level of vocational education and training implementation in the countries that you are dealing with those who are already members of the European Union, what are the differences, the main challenges?
The typology of the countries that we are working with is very diverse from how I can cluster, for example, the member states. Some of them, they are members of the OECD. Others, they are members of the G20. Others, they are low-income countries as compared to the GDP contribution, so then the diversity is big. The main difference is, first, in many countries, democracy does not exist, and this is a reality that is taken for granted in Europe. And in other countries, there are so important conflicts that is really preventing the country having enough time for further reflection on what does it mean vocational education agenda for them in order to recover from the crisis. But what is clear is that the crisis affected everyone. But on top of the economic and financial crisis, in many of the countries that we are working on, is also the democracy related, I mean, here on the societal developments that are there. In the countries that can be compared with what is going on in Europe, I think that vocational education and training is facing similar challenges in the sense of capability to anticipate the type of skills that will be needed by the labor market, in particular there where the demand does not exist, and will boost it. Could be about very much about the quality of vocational education and training. It's a lot of rhetorics going on about the quality, but very little improvement. And I have to say also that the governance of vocational education and training is suffering quite a lot. There is a theoretical involvement in many of the countries of the social partners, of the civil society, but they still are not considered and are not acting even as reliable partners for vocational education and training. But of course we have the opposite. We have champions for social dialogue in vocational education and training that many or some of the member states can also learn from, let's put it in this way, and there where the private sector is very, very active, you can see that also vocational education and training is appreciated and is well taken. So, as you can see, there are similarities in the sense of the challenges, and that's why this cooperation between Cedefop and ETF can really bring more food for thought and good practices from the member states that can really inspire the development in the partner countries.
Sure. One of the main challenges is improving attractiveness, increasing attractiveness of vocational education and training. But what are the chances of this happening if even people who are involved in that advise their children to follow the university path and not vocational education and training?
I think that is not enough to advise. You have to give evidences. Now, since we are preaching evidence-based policy making, I think that we have also to give evidences to the citizens that there is an added value in the choice, that if they make an informed choice, no? I mean, to give them quality of opportunities of good quality. I cannot advise someone to go, for example, for vocational education and training in a country where there is already a participation rate of 60% to vocational education and training, and the youth unemployment rate is 50%, and the needs percentage, those not in employment, education and training, is 25%, and I'm not inventing figures here. I'm taking you a reality that is not far from the member states.